So now we are recording. Okay. Welcome to Chair Yoga. Well, let's take a moment and really tune in to the sound of the bells and let those remind us to really enter into this experience. Let's take a slightly different approach to coming into presence today. And instead of going straight for the breath, let's work our way there a little bit more gradually and begin with a very simple progressive relaxation. So whenever you feel ready, get comfortable in your chair, allowing your eyes to drift closed. And of course, getting a sense of being present in the body. A sort of overall picture, a snapshot of how things are with each of us right now. Perhaps you're noticing places where you feel tight or tense, or maybe not. But moving from this sense of the whole body, let's begin to consider different sections of the body, and we'll progressively get in touch with them and then allow them to soften. So bringing awareness now to the head and face. As we breathe in, let's tighten everything up. Squeezing and clenching, and then with the out breath, relaxing and feeling the contrast. And if you need to do that one more time to get a bigger sense of relaxation, that's just fine. Let's do it again. Breathing in, becoming aware of tension in the face, the jaw, all around the eyes, and then breathing it out. Now, the same sort of thing in the right arm. Breathing in, clenching the right arm in the fist, and with the exhale, letting it all settle. Letting go of tightness, and feeling that first flush of softness that moves through the muscle and bones of the arm. And the left arm, breathing in, tightening, and then with the exhale, letting it go. Take a moment to appreciate the softness of the arms, to let go of any new tension in the face. And then perhaps as we breathe in, we can sense and introduce all sorts of tension to the abdomen, tightening the chest, the belly, the pelvic floor, and with the exhale, letting it go. Relaxing all the small muscles in the back and in the front of the body. Breathing in as we tighten everything about the right leg and foot. Exhale and release. And then the left leg and foot, breathing in, feeling the tightness and allowing relaxation and softness all the way down the leg. Now take a moment just to sense into the body. Maybe to repeat that little mantra to yourself a few times. Letting go, letting go, letting go as you soften. And now bringing some awareness to the breath. Breathing into a more relaxed body. Feeling the movement of the natural breath in and out of the body. And then as we get a little more accustomed to that, coming into the full yogic breath, breathing in and letting the belly swell out. Pressing in with the abdominal muscles as we exhale. Waking up the core of the body. Maybe appreciating a little pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. But mostly just getting in touch with the dynamic of breathing. Then as we begin to move, we'll continue to breathe with the same consciousness and with some coordination. Inhaling now as we sweep the arms up. You can steeple your fingers or you can interlace the fingers and press the palms toward the ceiling, whichever you prefer. And try a little lateral bending. Strong in the sides of the body. Making the whole torso a little taller. All right, then we'll let the arms float down and swing them out front and center. Starting to breathe, open. Exhale, closed. Thinking maybe about two different things here. There's the extension of the arms so that it's an active stretch out through the fingertips. And even as you swing the arms in, it's an active reaching forward so that we lengthen the body. And as we get a little more accustomed to that motion, there's also the movement of the spine, starting to flex forward and back. Now, allowing the arms to come to rest, let's turn our attention down to the bottom of the body. And we'll do our joint freeing series, moving from the feet up. And we're all pretty accustomed to that now. So let's start also breathing and moving in a coordinated way. Inhaling as we tighten the ankles and exhaling as we stretch them out. I don't know if you can hear the cracking, but it's probably loud enough. Then circling, creating the biggest circles that you can in first one direction and then the other. Maybe you can feel that along the soles of the foot. Now let's wiggle the toes and invite them to spread a little bit. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And we'll press the edges of the feet together and press the soles toward each other, activating the whole top of the leg. All right, now swinging the knees as we move up to the next joint and start loosening. Swinging legs forward and back, and then side to side, which you might sense more in the hip joints than you do in the knees. And let's do a couple of different things for the knees. On one side, we'll gather the leg in, bending your knee as much as your body can tolerate. Extend the leg out, reaching out through the heel with a little support. Spine erect. Then let's bend the leg in and point out through the toe, sensing how that differs in your experience. Now let's put that leg back down on the floor and do 2 or 3 heel slides, which is going to activate the leg in a slightly different way. So sliding your heel forward on the floor, lifting, curling the leg back in and down to the floor. Try that maybe 2 more times. Seeing if you can maintain an erect posture as you move. And then we'll turn to the other side of the body and gather the leg in. This is our version of the knee to chest pose. Reaching out through the heel, stretching the back of the leg. And we'll gather it in again and reach out through the toe. And then again, a few heel slides on this side. Sliding out, lifting, and placing. Now, coming up to the center of the body, let's do a little bit of circling. Exhaling the body forward and inhaling as we circle back. You can start out small if your body feels tight, especially in the low back. And maybe as things loosen up, circles might become bigger. They could even involve shoulders and neck. And at some point, when you feel the time is right, you can change directions using your muscles in a more balanced way. Now we'll let the circles get a little smaller, bringing the body back up to center. And let's pay attention to the shoulders. A little bit of rolling. Here too, we're going to take it both ways. And then lightly placing the fingertips on the shoulders. Let's do a little paddling. Maybe you can sense into that area between the shoulder blades. Doing a little loosening, paddling forwards and then backwards. Now we'll let that come to stillness. And with hands at heart center, let's do a little bit more shoulder work. Breathing in, taking the arms up to form the letter I, Y, W, T, and O. Just rolling the head of the humerus around inside the shoulder joint, inviting a little bit more lubrication. And one more time, I, Y, W, T, and O. And we'll let the arms come down and turn our attention to head and neck. So let's start this time by taking the ear toward the shoulder on either side. And the next time you're back at center, let's inhale as we lift the chin. Exhale, allowing the chin to drift down toward the chest. And as we breathe, stretching the front of the neck. And with the exhale, the back of the neck. We might issue a little bit of challenge, but not pushing ourselves into anything that hurts. The next time we're back, let's take it from side to side. Finding the edge of your range of motion, either way. Just noticing where you feel that. Now coming back to the middle, let's just do a little bobblehead, really inviting everything to be very loose with no tension, no kinks, okay? And then let's do a twist. So turning sideways in your chair and placing the hands on the back of the chair, let's very gently invite the back to rotate. We'll breathe in, reaching out through the crown of the head, and then with the exhale, turning slowly toward your shoulder, wrapping around the waist, the chest, and finally the head and neck. And when you've gotten into the deepest expression of your twist, take a breath and back off a little. Then soften the muscles of the back and exhale back into the twist. And maybe we might notice as we unwind that when we give up resistance and soften into the twist, it goes a little bit more deep. And that's true of almost all of our yoga poses. Now, facing the opposite way, again, let's breathe in and lengthen. And then with the exhale, slowly rotate at the waist, the chest, the head and neck. Take a moment just to sample what it's like to have the body in this position. Breathing in, backing off a little. And then with the exhale, deliberately softening back into it. And then when you're ready, we'll unwind, sort of unfurl the body, coming back around carefully to the front. And then let's do some standing work. Let me adjust the angle just a little bit. Let's begin our off the chair work today with a round of Salute to the Moon. Salute to the Moon is quite an old vinyasa, a yoga flow that comes out of the Kripalu tradition. Breathing in with the exhale, letting the hands float down. Inhale, tracing the shape of the full And with the exhale, coming to the shape of the quarter moon, breathing in, quarter moon to the other side, and back to center. Now let's step out to goddess pose, a wider stance, a gentle squat, the palms facing each other. And then the 5-point star. We'll breathe in and let the exhale carry us to the shape of the half moon, reaching actively up and down, lengthening the side of the body and back to center, continuing over to the half moon on the opposite side. Again, active stretch and back to the 5-point star. Now let's take one side of the body over to the other, folding at the hip crease. It's okay to soften your knee if your hamstrings feel tight. And you can anchor at the knee, the calf, or the ankle, whatever seems available. Then we'll put a good bend in the knees and push back up with the strength of the legs and take that to the opposite side. Bending the knee and pushing back up, we'll come to the 5-point star, returning to goddess, stepping into the center with a quarter moon on one side and then the other. And the moon will set. We'll finish with our hands at heart center. Now that's not the last time that we'll visit Salute to the Moon today, but that was a good way to loosen up as we move into some work that goes from the table pose. So finding your table, seeing if you can get pretty close to a level spine, whatever that looks like for you. Arms and legs perpendicular, strong in the belly, and see if you can invite the head to be in line with the spine. Feeling the breath move through the body in this foundational pose. And let's put a good bend in the knees so we can really bend our backs, and we'll begin to do a little cow and cat. As we breathe in, dropping the belly, lifting the chin and the tailbone, and then with the exhale, moving up to the cat pose, rolling the spine toward the ceiling. So the invitation here is to move slowly and see if you can roll that movement up the spine, maybe even one vertebra at a time. Starting the motion from the tailbone in both directions. Always starting from the tailbone and moving the vertebrae up toward the neck. Just loosening things. And when you feel the time is right, coming back to stillness. Now let's challenge the arms a little with some cat bows. So again, seeing if you can maintain that stable, level spine, surrendering the weight of the body onto the arms as much as you can. Breathing as you move. And coming back to the middle. Let's shake out the arms just a little bit for a second, and then we'll come back to table. And for Sunbird today, let's do some Sunbird crunches. So as we breathe in on one side, we'll lift the leg. And with the exhale, draw the knee in toward the nose. Now working on that side of the body several times, breathing in and out as you fold the knee backwards and forwards. Maybe feeling the engagement of the belly and the low back and the gluteus muscles. It's a real core workout. And we'll surrender on that side and test the other. Breathing the leg up. And with the exhale, knee moving in toward the nose. It's not likely to touch the nose. Just inviting it in that direction. Now, let's come up off the hands a little bit. And we'll do some things that loosen the arms and the wrists and the fingers. Today, let's roll the wrists around each other. We'll take it one way and then the other. You can give the fingers a bit of a workout here too. Letting them wave around like a sea anemone. Then we'll fold one arm in and press on the elbow to stretch the shoulder. Just letting that passively stretch. Now wrists and forearms. And then on the opposite side, pressing the arm in. Just stay there and breathe for a time or two. Bending at the wrist so that you get a good stretch in the forearm and both sides of the hand. And then star, claw, and beak. Pushing that duck bill together. Star, claw, and beak. Active stretching and clenching of the fingers. Okay, one more thing. Let's do a full sunbird. I didn't really mean one more thing. I really meant two more things. A full sunbird means we lift one leg and extend the opposite arm forward. Just inviting the body to get parallel to the floor. And it may or may not agree with that today. Now returning, let's try that on the opposite side of the body. Lifting the leg, extending the opposite arm forward, giving the belly and the back a real chance to engage and strengthen. Then letting go of that, let's take one leg back and we'll press the heel into the floor, stretching the Achilles tendon and the calf. And if you're feeling stable and strong, you can take that up to a lunge. A little bit of a challenge to the balance. Now on the opposite side of the body, we can trade legs, dropping one leg back. Take a moment just to stretch it out. And if it feels right for you, to come up to a high lunge. And we'll let go, come back up to standing. And to warm up the muscles of the legs today, let's do chair. We'll do that a few times and then we'll take it to a forward bend. So getting your feet about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit more. Softening the knees. As we breathe in, let's take that sitting motion, lifting the arms, and then breathing our way back up, breathing in and out, and in and out. Now this time, we'll go right from our chair pose to a forward bend. Breathing in, and with the exhale, hinging at the hips, letting the chest come down toward the thighs. With your next breath in, see if you can straighten your legs, inviting the hamstrings to stretch. It's a good time to draw the belly in so that you can get a little closer to your legs. Then put a really good bend in the knees and reverse your swan dive, pushing up and back to the heart center. Going straight on through to chair. Forward bend. Inhale as we straighten the legs. Come a little bit closer to the thighs. Now, good bend in the knees and inhale the body back up. And one more time, breathing in and out and in and out and in and out as we come back to center. Now that must have warmed up the legs and possibly a few other things too. Let's do a little bit of back bending. We've bent every other way, so we've got to make sure we bend in all the cardinal directions. With a little support to the lower back, take a moment to see how far your spine wants to go, controlling the weight of the head. Strong in the upper legs. And whenever you're ready, coming back up to center. And we'll get ready for a little bit of warrior work. Now today I'd like to, as I said, revisit Salute to the Moon and do our warrior work around that. So I'll move my chair out of the way. And step to the back of my theoretical mat. No, that's wrong because we're starting from Salute to the Moon. Sorry about that. All right. Standing at the center, take a moment to breathe. And one more time to let go of tension wherever you find it. It has a way of creeping back in. And we'll breathe in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. Strong in the goddess pose. Now, finding your 5-point star. From here, point your right toes forward and drop the left heel back and turn a little bit to find yourself in Warrior Two. Gazing out over your fingertips. The belly really kind of facing out to the side. Then we'll rotate the upper body around to face out over the knee and lift up into Warrior One. Take a moment, we'll hold the pose as we breathe. And with the next out breath, come back to Warrior Two. And then side angle pose. Coming down to support the weight of the body on the thigh, reaching up and forward over the head so that we make a great big stretch from the fingertips down to the outer edge of the back foot. And then back up to Warrior Two. And then we'll turn back to the 5-point star. Take a moment to jiggle, especially if you built up a bit of tension in your legs. And back to the 5-point star. This time we'll point the left toes and drop the right heel back, coming into Warrior Two on the opposite side. Standing and breathing. Maybe a little bit stressed in the shoulders. And if that's the case, you could try engaging your ocean-sounding breath. And we'll rotate the belly around to face out over the knee, rising up into Warrior One. And again, holding and breathing. Breathe in. Let the out breath carry you back to Warrior Two. And then we'll come down to the side angle pose on this side, leaning on your thigh and reaching actively up and forward. And when you feel ready, let's come back up to Warrior Two. And the 5-point star. And Goddess. Exhale to Goddess. Stepping into the center with a quarter moon on either side. And we'll let that set and come back to a standing prayerful mountain pose. And take a moment to jiggle and let go of the tension before we step into our balance work. Lots of shaking. We all have a lot of stuff to shake off these days, so give it its full due. And while we're here, let's allow the hands to sink down to the side of the body. Feel your relaxed mountain pose. And we'll do 3 rounds of breath of joy. 3 sipping breaths in, and then a great big exhale. Maybe you can really abandon yourself on that exhale now. And coming back up. Okay. Now, let's have a little balance challenge for today. So, setting up your chair, however you'd like it to be. Today we'll do heron, and if we all survive that, which I'm sure we will, we'll add the clock motion to it. So with your chair, wherever you like to have it for safety, let's get ourselves ready for balance work. Finding your mountain, strong in the body, but at the same time soft and at ease. Open in the chest and shoulders. Soften the knees so that they're not locked. And find your gazing point somewhere ahead of you in the room. And we'll shift our weight to one side And with the next breath in, find your heron. Let your knee be soft so that you can tremble without losing your balance. And when you feel ready, we'll come in for a landing. Shake it out a little bit, especially that leg that was holding you up. And we'll come back and get ourselves prepared again. This time, shifting the weight to the opposite side, softening the knee, and inhaling up into heron. Drying our wings in the sun. We're really holding it very well today. I almost hate to bring it down. Okay, coming in for a landing. Shake those legs out again. Now let's do it with the clock, because we did a good job and we have to keep going until we fail, right? Okay, finding your mountain. We're going to go back to that original side, shifting the weight, coming up to heron, and whichever leg you have out, taking the opposite arm in a big circle. There we go, there's one for posterity. And you can take your circle in both directions. And come in for a landing. I did a bit of dancing there. But there's always hope for the other side of the body. So let's settle in, invite the heron pose, and then whichever leg you have out front, clockwise and counterclockwise with the opposite arm. That really increases the challenge, and I'm sure it's good for us. All right, now if there's any other standing movement that your body seems to need, take a moment to do that. If there's something that sort of feels like it needs to stretch, I feel like coming to the flat back and looking up would really feel good. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll come back to our chairs. Now settling in somewhere out here near the front of your chair with your spine erect. Let's do our version of the pigeon pose, okay? We'll do a hip opener, as we call them. So inviting one ankle up to the top of the knee. And if that doesn't work for you, you can just cross the leg. Not every hip is meant to do these. Now straighten the spine. We'll breathe in, and with the exhale, tilt the erect spine forward so that the upper body comes down over the legs. And we'll spend a little time here, letting the tight tissues of the hip lengthen and soften. While we're here, letting go of tension in any place that isn't necessary for holding the pose. So relaxing the face, softening the arms, and meanwhile, allowing that hip joint to open, stretch. And then when you're ready, we'll rise back up and release that leg back to the floor. We might take a moment just to sense if that side now feels a little different from the other side. Some of these poses that we do, if we were lying on the floor doing them, you might almost have a sense that one leg was longer than the other because it was more stretched out. We don't really get that sense so much sitting in the chair, but I'm sure that the same thing is still happening. Now taking the opposite leg up to the top of the knee, or whatever works in your body. Paying attention to what the experience is like on the other side. We'll breathe in, reach out through the crown, and with the exhale, tilt the erect spine forward. Again, softening into it. Breathing the softness of the out breath down into the hip, letting it open. At times, this pose can be a little uncomfortable, but never go so far forward that you get into a situation that feels more like pain. Just give it a little challenge. Breathing, releasing, and rising back up. We'll release that leg back to the floor. Now let's take the arms up. Bend gently to the side a time or two. Really, we're just softening, letting go of tightness here. We'll bring the arms down to the cactus position. Breathe in. And with the exhale, draw the elbows down to the sides and see if you can get a sense of the shoulder blades moving gently up and down. And we can release that. Softly release the neck. And then settle back into the chair. And we'll think about Shavasana, the resting period. So, as we come into a more restful place in our practice, the part where the body really learns the lessons that the practice was supposed to be teaching us, we'll let our eyes drift closed. And today, a very gentle body sensing exercise. So as we sit and breathe, let's notice what we can sense about being present in the whole of the head. The skull, maybe even the skin and the hair, the face and the ears, and the mouth. Following the same track that we started when we began our practice, bringing our attention down to the right arm, and getting a sense of its presence from the shoulder to the elbow, the lower arm, and the hand. All the sensations that let us know that we have a right arm and hand. Now bringing awareness over to the left arm. Feeling whatever sensation gives you a hint about its presence. In the upper arm and the lower arm, the hand. Sensing now into the whole torso. Maybe feeling the breath move in and out of the chest. The movement of the rib cage as we breathe. Sending the softness of the out-breath down into the belly. And any other subtle thing that tells you about this critically important central part of the body, the organs. Now awareness coming to the right leg, from the hip down to the knee. The lower leg and the foot. And the left leg, the upper leg, the calf and shin, anything deeper within, and the left foot. And bringing attention to the whole body. Maybe getting a sense of the whole body breathing and resting. Healing from the strains of this practice and learning from the lessons of this practice. Beginning to return. Deepening the breath now and letting the attention come a little more into the wholeness of the environment. Letting the eyes open and moving in small ways. Arms and feet. And if there's anything that your body still seems to need, taking a moment to pay attention to that. Let's take a gentle figure 8 just to wake the body back up a little bit, hoping that we can keep the restfulness and the calm of this practice as we move forward into another few days here at the Hacienda. Now the other side, starting to loosen the shoulders. Wake up. Thank you for sharing yoga today. It's always my privilege to practice with you. May we all be happy and peaceful. May we be well in body and mind. May we be safe from all harm. And may our practice of yoga bring peace to our lives and to the lives of those we touch. Namaste.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay.
How are you thinking about posting the recording?
Well, first let me turn it off.